So today I thought we would go through how to do sidechain on the Digitakt. So I have this kick and 3 tracks with a bass sound. So method number 1, triggers. So I have this 4 on the floor pattern for the bass drum, so you can hear. If I want to set up sidechain on the bass line on track 3, now you can hear it's not enabled. I could simply go into the sequencer of track 3 and remove all the steps that my kick hits. Let's see how that sounds. So now you can hear that pumping from the sidechain. Method number 2 is para-unlocking velocity. I think that makes it sound a little bit better, as the bass doesn't completely drop out when the kick hits. So we go into track 4 and we just hit trig and we have velocity. So to this knob we hit the steps and we just reduce velocities on those steps, maybe 56 there. Something like that. Let's see how that sounds. Same pumping motion, but I think this sounds a little bit better. Then there is compressor sidechaining. So to set that up, you hit Func and the LFO button to go to the master. So you might have to hit it a few times to get to the master compressor page. Since this is a master compressor, it affects the entire mix, but let's use it to sidechain the bassline to the kick. So that setting is sidechain source. Right now it's set to main, so you just need to set it to your kick track. In my case it's track 1. And now we can see the compressor working every time the kick hits. But it's not affecting the sound yet, and that's because the mix is turned all the way to dry. But we can bring it in. So on the Digitakt one, I don't think you can exclude tracks from being routed through the compressor individually. So the compressor will always affect the kick as well as everything else in the mix. And this is why I don't really like this method for sidechaining the kick to the bass, for example. You can achieve sidechain compression via the LFOs as well. So this might be good if you have LFO left over. So you go to the LFO page and we set the destination to amp volume. Like so. As for the wave, you pick a exponential wave, like that. Mode we set to 1, so the LFO triggers only once until it's triggered again. And then we need a negative depth to have it affect the amp volume and pull it down. So the final thing you need to do is you need to stop triggering the LFO on every single note, only on the bass notes. So we go to the trig, and we could turn the LFO trig down. So now the LFO is never triggered. And then on the quarter notes where the bass hits, we just para-unlock the LFO to be triggered. Like so. Now we've done it for the whole sequence. Sounds quite good. So here it is without the LFO. Then we can bring it in. Quite nice. We can adjust the speed. This is too much. That's very obvious ducking. Yeah. So this method is nice because it creates a proper ramp up in volume. If we compare it to the method where we just don't play the note, that obviously doesn't create a ramp in volume, and the same is true for the velocity param lock method. Doesn't create this ramp up in volume again. The proper sidechain method will of course create ramp in volume, but I think the LFO method is honestly the best. But then you need to spare an LFO. The LFO method is quite nice as it works great with sustained bass notes as well. So now I've created a track with sustained bass notes. We turn LFO trig off. And then we need to turn it on for every start of every note. Since the bass hits on the 5, 9 and 13 steps as well, we need to add trigless param locks to those steps. So we go funk, and we press those steps, and we enable the LFO on those steps. You can see the steps light up yellow, that means they are trigless, meaning a note won't trigger. And now we can hear the pumping even for this sustained notes track. So yeah, that's all methods for sidechaining. The LFO route is my favorite if you can spare a track for it. It's a bit tricky to set up, but it works great both for sustained sounds and for say driving bass lines that trigger on every 16th note or every quarter note. The velocity param locks is by far the easiest, that gives quite good results still. So if you don't have an LFO to spare, I would go that route, or if you just want something simple, use that. Now go make some music.